Calaroga Shark Media. Hello and welcome to Ghost. This episode is titled The Desert Djinn.
In the vast and unforgiving expanse of the Arabian desert, where the endless dunes stretched as far as the eye could see, there existed a haunting legend known as the Desert Djinn. It was a tale whispered in hushed tones around campfires and shared among nomadic tribes. The Desert Djinn was a malevolent spirit that roamed the desert, a ghostly enigma with a tragic past that continued to torment the living. Our story takes us to a remote desert oasis, a place where life flourished amidst the arid sands. The oasis was home to a small Bedouin community led by a wise and respected elder named Hassan Al-Mansur. Hassan's tribe had lived in harmony with the desert for generations, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of the dunes. Many years ago, a young and spirited woman named Leila had captured the heart of Hassan. Her ebony hair and radiant eyes had stolen his heart, and their love was a beacon of hope in the harsh desert. They dreamed of a life together, building a family in the oasis they both cherished. However, fate had other plans for Leila and Hassan. The peaceful oasis that had been their sanctuary for years was about to become the setting for a tragic and catastrophic event. It started as a seemingly ordinary day, with the sun casting its warm embrace over the shimmering waters of the oasis. The date palms swayed gently in the breeze, and the tribe's goats grazed contentedly along the oasis's edge. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a chilling wind began to sweep through the oasis. It carried with it the first ominous signs of the impending sandstorm. The once clear sky darkened, and the air grew thick with tension. Hassan, who had been tending to the goats, felt a growing unease in his heart. The wind intensified, carrying fine grains of sand that stung like needles as they whipped through the oasis. The sky turned an ominous shade of red, and a deafening roar filled the air. The tempest descended upon the oasis with an unrelenting fury, the likes of which had not been seen in generations. The sandstorm was a malevolent force of nature, an unstoppable juggernaut of destruction. The dunes themselves seemed to come alive, their shifting sands rising like tidal waves, swallowing everything in their path. The once thriving oasis was buried beneath this mountain of shifting sands, its waters smothered, its vibrant life extinguished. Amidst the chaos, Leila was separated from Hassan, her anguished cries drowned out by the relentless howling of the storm. She desperately searched for him, her vision obscured by the swirling sand. Panic welled up within her as she realized the severity of the situation. Hours passed, but the sandstorm showed no mercy. When it finally subsided, the oasis had been transformed into a barren wasteland, a desert within the desert. The waters had disappeared, replaced by a treacherous sea of shifting sands. Hassan and Leila's love story had been torn asunder by the merciless sandstorm, and Leila was lost to the unforgiving desert. Her disappearance was a crushing blow to Hassan, who was left with nothing but the haunting memory of their love. In the wake of the tragedy, Hassan's grief knew no bounds. He blamed himself for not being able to protect Leila, and the weight of that guilt pushed him to the brink of madness. He wandered the desolate oasis, searching for any sign of her, driven by a desperate hope that she might still be alive. It was during these solitary, agonizing nights that Hassan began to experience the inexplicable. He heard the faint echoes of Leila's voice on the desert winds, her mournful cries carried by the breezes that now swept across the barren landscape. In his fevered state, he believed that Leila's spirit had become one with the desert, a vengeful force of nature. The loss of Leila was a tragedy that shattered Hassan's spirit. Overwhelmed by grief, he withdrew from his tribe and descended into madness. He spoke of seeing Leila's ghost in the shimmering sands, her voice calling to him on the wind. The tribespeople believed that Leila's spirit had become entangled with the malevolent forces of the desert, transforming her into the desert Djinn. Hassan's cries of despair and his ramblings about Leila's haunting presence became the stuff of legend, and the tribe lived in constant fear of the desert Djinn's wrath. They avoided the oasis where Leila had been lost, for it was believed to be cursed, a place of sorrow and death. As the years passed, the desert Djinn's presence continued to haunt the nomadic tribes of the Arabian desert. Strange occurrences plagued the travelers who dared to venture too close to the cursed oasis. Sandstorms would materialize out of nowhere, shifting dunes like malevolent giants. Whispers of a woman's mournful wails echoed on the desert winds, chilling the hearts of those who heard them. Generations came and went, but the desert Djinn endured, her anguish undiminished. It seemed that Leila's tragic fate had bound her to the desert, and she would forever be trapped in her sorrowful existence. It was only when a renowned desert explorer named Malik Al-Mazari arrived in the Arabian desert that the opportunity for redemption presented itself. Malik possessed an unwavering determination to unravel the mystery of the desert Djinn and help Leila find peace. Guided by the stories of the Bedouin tribes, Malik embarked on a perilous journey deep into the heart of the desert. Armed with his knowledge of ancient rituals and a deep respect for the spirits of the land, he sought to communicate with the desert Djinn. One moonless night, beneath the starry desert sky, Malik called out to the tormented spirit. "Leila," he whispered into the stillness of the desert, "I can help you find peace and release you from your torment." A profound silence settled over the sands, broken only by the shifting of dunes. Then, as if responding to Malik's plea, the desert Djinn materialized before him, her spectral form illuminated by the shimmering moonlight. Leila's mournful gaze met Malik's eyes, and for the first time in centuries, a sense of recognition flickered in her spectral countenance. Malik learned of Leila's unending grief and the torment that had bound her to the desert. With empathy and compassion, he guided Leila's spirit toward the light, helping her find solace and release from her agonizing existence. As the desert Djinn ascended towards the heavens, a sense of peace washed over the Arabian desert. The haunting cries that had plagued the nomadic tribes for generations were silenced forever, and the shadow of Leila's sorrow was finally lifted. The nomadic tribes of the Arabian desert could now traverse the dunes without fear, knowing that the tragic tale of the desert Djinn had come to an end. Malik Al-Mazari, the intrepid explorer who had bridged the gap between the living and the dead, had succeeded in offering redemption to a tormented soul, and in doing so, he had banished the ghostly spectre that had haunted the desert for so long.
Ghost is a Calaroga Shark media production, written and hosted by Alexander Ian McIntyre, produced by Mark Francis, executive producers Mark Francis and John McDermott. Calaroga Shark Media.